Alrighty, hi, and welcome to today's episode, Speedpaint. It's a Speedpaint. Episode sounds better, though. I like the sound of that, but they're not really episodic. I just kind of talk about whatever. I don't know. I just talk about whatever. Okay, so today's Speedpaint is actually a redraw of a older piece I did. I think the first one was in 2014, and then I redid it in 2016, and then I redid it again. This is Knoll from Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Way back in the day, for a long time, actually, I was role-playing him on Tumblr. I joined a Fire Emblem roleplay group way back in the day. I think 2014 was the year I picked up my first character for the Fire Emblem fandom. I actually picked up Nils first from 7 Sacred Stones, Binding Blade, Burning Blade, whatever. The first one to come to America, basically. It was my first Fire Emblem game. I had traded my friend for it way back in the day. I traded him Pokemon Pinball. He gave me Fire Emblem. I ended up losing that copy and had to buy a new one. But, you know, that's just how it is. But, so I started in this Fire Emblem roleplay group with Nils from that game, which is actually where I chose my name from, because being called Nils in that capacity made me feel really good, and that's the end of that. That covers my name. But later, as I was working my way through Sacred Stones, I really got attached to Knoll, who you meet in... So, Sacred Stones breaks up into 2 different routes at about partway through the game. You can either go... Because the main characters are twins, so you either go with Erica, who is the female lord of the game, or you go with Ephraim, who's the male lord. I have always started with Ephraim's side. I'm not sure why, but that is just... maybe it's just because I'm gay and Ephraim is a very pretty boy. But... so I've always started on his side, and in his route, you pick up Knoll, who is a dark mage who's been imprisoned by the prince, who is actually... This is not spoiler-free territory. He is imprisoned by his prince, who is actually the main villain of the game, who has been possessed, basically. And he is imprisoned for knowing too much and is set to be executed the day after Ephraim shows up. He's meant to be executed. So you pick him up, and he gives you this really dark joke about, oh, has my execution been pushed up, basically, and it's really sad. And I don't know, this very sad dark mage, or shaman. He was a shaman, because dark mage wasn't, I don't think it was technically a class in Sacred Stones. He was a shaman, and I love him. And to this day, I have actually not finished Sacred Stones, but I have read all of his supports. And I want this poor boy to be happy, but I don't think he ever really will be. So I ended up picking up him after that, and the original version of this picture was actually my header for that Tumblr. Because there's not... Like, the one picture I used for reference for color here and his in-game icon are the only 2 actual official pieces of art. I think he has one other piece, which is a cutscene still in the game of him trying to stop Leon, but that's it. That is the extent of official work for Knoll. So I had to obviously make all of my own stuff for him. Way back in the day, I had a lot of trouble figuring out, like, his hair and stuff, figuring out how exactly I want to draw his eyes. Obviously, I haven't drawn Fire Emblem in a hot minute, but I have clearly figured out more or less what I want to do for him at this point. I will probably pick up drawing Fire Emblem stuff again at a later point. But as it stands, I haven't been in the roleplay community in a while, so my motivation to draw Fire Emblem is actually really low. I don't, unless I'm consistently working with a character or characters, it's really hard for me to come up with scenarios, so it's just kind of like I don't really have head empty, no thoughts. But I really love him. He's really close to my heart. I think I want to not cosplay him someday, but I would like to get... I can't think of the words I'm trying to say, but the point is the point. I really love him. And what I'm doing here in the... Wow, I can't think of words. This was very poorly planned out, even more so than most of my videos. Huh? But what I'm working on right now in the video is actually the spellbook, which I can't remember which one this is, but I looked up, I think it's Flux, which is the starting dark magic in the Fire Emblem games. I actually looked up at one point the tombs, because you use tombs for magic in the Fire Emblem games. I looked up the tombs to basically try to find out what the covers looked like. Obviously, you can see in the little chibi I have up there that was actually my side profile for a long time that I redrew this year. Because I wanted to, you know, have an actual book cover, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Where's the official cover art? And I didn't find official cover art, but I did find someone had drawn them. So I will actually post a link to the original designer of the covers. It'll be in the description. I did originally find them on Google, but that's just... I will make sure to post them, and that way I want to give proper credit, because the designs are really nice and they deserve it. Even if they're, I think it's from this person's DeviantArt, I don't know if they're still active there or not, so, you know, I'm crossing my fingers here and hoping I can credit properly. But I don't really have too much else to say. I'm putting little scars and kind of roughing up his hands a little bit, because he's a mage, he mostly works with his hands. He does a lot of, he probably did a lot of work in, like, the libraries of, Grado, I believe, is the kingdom he works for, the empire. Oh, sorry, the empire he works for. So I wanted to kind of focus on that. It's a lot of paper cuts, probably a lot of, honestly, a lot of ritual bloodletting, I guess, for his magic was the general idea I had for some of the stuff he did, because it's... The thing with dark magic in Fire Emblem, and Knoll does say this, is that it's a lot of... Dark magic isn't a correct moniker for it. It should actually be called ancient magic, and that dark magic is a misnomer because that people just don't understand it, so it seems and feels darker than magic used in Sacred Stone, specifically in the society they had at the time. So, and Knoll's whole thing is researching and trying to, you know, bring that back. I don't know how much I'm talking out of my ass here on headcanons I had for when I was actually role-playing him, and how much of this is actually factual canon. But, you know what? We don't get enough of Knoll, and until they put him in Heroes, I am going to wildly guess on stuff like that. But, so yeah, it's ancient magic. So it was a lot of, for me, that just felt like a lot of, I don't know, stuff that's a little bit skeevy, I guess. Stuff that you wouldn't really necessarily deem safe as far as magic nowadays being in the timeline of Sacred Stones. But, you know, the Prince unlocks a primordial, or maybe not primordial, but he unlocks a god and gets possessed and, tries to take over the world. So I think I'm allowed my little bits and pieces here and there. Fire Emblem has been a very important game series for me, and not in the same way that, like, Kingdom Hearts has been, because Kingdom Hearts is what really got me into video games in the first place. Like, I had always played Pokemon or whatever when I was a kid, but Kingdom Hearts is what really got me playing video games. But Fire Emblem is a close second. I've finished 7, I've played most of Sacred Stones, I've played most of 6, I really want to play Radiant Dawn and the sequel to it, Path of Radiance, but I actually might have mixed those up. I know one's the sequel, one's the prequel, but I don't actually remember which one's which. I do want to play those. I started Shadow Dragon, and I haven't finished it yet, and I need to. Awakening, I've replayed multiple times. I always end up marrying Chrom if I'm playing female Robin, and I don't know what to tell you, that's just what happens. It's the crying face. It's the crying face when Emerin dies. I don't know what to tell you. I played Conquest for Fates, and I recently bought Revelations for Fates, but I'm not super into it. It never captured me like the other games did, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a weak game, and don't come at me about it. I don't care. Echoes I finished, and Three Houses I've played multiple times, because I'm trying to end up marrying everyone and getting all those beautiful cutscene stills, because that's what they are, is that they're beautiful, and Hilda is my wife, and I love her very much, and I'm going to have a rough time not marrying her when I play through Golden Deer again, as male Byleth, so that'll be interesting. I don't really have too much else to say about Fire Emblem. Like, it's important to me, and I will probably continue to play the games. Heroes needs to give me Nils. He's my namesake. Like, I need him right now. But I have a really bad luck with blue units specifically. It took me, like, 2 years to get Ninian, and I was just... Oh man, I am chomping at the bit for my little Dragon Bard. I need him on my team. I need him right now. I need him. And they need to add Knoll. It's like every single time they add new characters, I'm like, oh yeah, new characters, and then it's never the characters I want. Which is fine, I don't necessarily, I'm not so up in arms about it, it's whatever. But I would like if they added Knoll. I want them to add Knoll. I want them to add Dusel, because he's dad and also daddy, and goddamn. I'm sorry. This was just a very rambly episode. I'm still not sure if episode's the right word, but it feels good. It's a very rambly episode, and I apologize for that. I really should make a script, but honestly... Oh, sorry. Honestly, it's not... I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it. I just am doing this for fun. If other people can get enjoyment out of it as well, then that's enough for me. But it's all for me, I don't do this for other people at this point. Maybe at some point, if more people end up, following me or whatever, whatever happens vis-a-vis popularity, if that goes up, then yeah, I'll be doing it for people, but at the moment, there's not enough for me to worry about it. I'm not really too proud of the smoke effects in this. Effects. There's a T in there somewhere. The effect I had in the original was done on Psy, so it's a little bit different. It's a lot bit different, and I haven't been able to find a good way to replicate that yet. I need to see if Clip has any free brushes I can download that are basically the side brushes, just because there are also like layer effects that I really liked inside the clip doesn't have, and I really miss them. But yeah, that's it. That's my boy Knoll redone. This was finished, I want to say it was finished on Monday or Tuesday. And there are the originals. The top one is 2014, the bottom one is 2016. I actually really like the top one a lot better, weirdly enough. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night whenever you're watching this. Bye!